Meritocracy may be a good system in Singapore, but more emphasis should be placed on family values to encourage Singaporeans to marry and procreate and to promote a more compassionate society. That was the view expressed by several participants at a population dialogue chaired by Minister in the Prime Minister's Office and Second Minister for Home Affairs and Trade and Industry, Iswaran, and Acting Minister for Manpower and Senior Minister of State for National Development, Chuan-Jin, on Wednesday.
We've become so well known as Singapore Inc. We're really strong as growing as an economy, but I think somewhere along the way maybe we've lost a bit of the compassion and care that we have for each other. And I think if we kind of take a step back and reprioritize our focus as in what we want to achieve as a country, I don't know how much in a sense we can give up in terms of the economy, but we cannot achieve both. We can never be number one in what we do in the market and making your company the best, and yet at the same time say that you are a very family-friendly company. It is very hard to find that balance.
In a family that's cohesive, that's very well grounded in family values, in Confucian values or your basic Asian values, I think that's very important, and it's a topic brought up very often. So, yeah, if you had these values, it is very likely that you might have a better birth rate, because you have children that know the value of a family, of how important it is to have brothers and sisters you can rely on. And yeah, and it's really rather sad that our KPIs are grades, our income and stuff like that. And so perhaps something can be slightly shifted, perhaps, to accommodate for this more important, in my opinion.
What motivates you? This is very economics, numbers thinking, right? Then Stephen says, well, actually, I'm not sure about making $1 million, but I want to spend 1 million hours with my children. By the way, you're also setting yourself a goal there. You're quantifying the goal, but it's in hours spent with your children, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, at the national level or at the organizational level, I think what we need to do is find how do you reconcile the two? Because what we really want is a situation where those who are keen to pursue non-material objectives, because they feel at their personal level they can find a different balance in life, they should be able to do so. But those equally who are desiring of pursuing a different path, because they are focused on career aspiration and so on, we must have the space for that too. Because to say that we are going to swing only in one direction, I think is a rather, it's vicissitudes, it's like saying, let's see what is fashionable today and pursue that path. I think what we really need is a system, and today, because we are at a certain level of development, we can accommodate a wider range of choices.
Value system cannot be imposed. It has to be believed and taken on board on a very individual basis. So I would say that values are fundamentally important. And I think from the onset, in different ways, it's not as if we have not been emphasizing it. But I'm not sure whether measuring it, giving grades or other ways, I'm not sure whether that's the way we want to go. But clearly it is important, and I think that's something we cannot neglect. And that's something I feel that the education system, in terms of what we do, how we inculcate that, I think is important.
Questions were also raised on whether the government should take bolder steps when it comes to issues on immigration, population and procreation.
It seems that when we were much poorer, when we were struggling, the government and as a group, the society was more willing and more comfortable with bold decisions to make big step changes, even whether it's industrialization or building the airport, we go ahead of the curve. But in the last 10 years or so, we tend to make more incremental steps, and in the sense of solving problems like population and even the marriage procreation issue, we are not, in my view, not taking enough bold steps.
What a government can do is a function of what its people are prepared to rally around and support. So we asked the question, why is it when we were poorer, we were able to do things that when we are here today in a more materially better off position, we are unable to perhaps contemplate? Well, the nature of the choices has changed. When you think about the 60s and 70s, the choices and the decisions were about sustenance, making sure we had a livelihood, a way of life to go forward. Today, we're talking about sustainability, trying to find a balance between, our aspirations in terms of lifestyle and our own aspirations for our children, and keeping a certain level of material comfort going, which we're used to. So the type of issues are different, and how bold we are prepared to be, I think, is a function of how much Singaporeans are prepared to do or support by way of the changes we make.
While immigration is inevitable to make up for Singapore's declining birth rate, companies should learn to lessen their reliance on foreign labour. The ministers explain more in the next clip.